What is your sense of, what's your definition of feminism?
So feminism would be the movement towards egalitarianism and to shrug off patriarchal systems of all kinds. So the goal of feminism is to destroy patriarchy, ultimately.
Okay. Good times.
Do you guys agree or disagree with that?
I think, to be frankly honest with you, we've actually moved towards that pretty well, in my opinion. Like, I would say in America, there is certain patriarchal takes, like abortion laws and stuff, but like, for majority, I think we're doing pretty good. Like, I think women have a lot of rights. Women are doing pretty good in today's society. Again, I'm talking about America. So I think we're moving in the right direction.
So then you're a feminist.
Didn't I say so? I think I said that I was.
Well, I just want to make sure, because you can see that there's dilly-dallying around this where people will go, well, I have some feminist takes, some not so feminist takes, but if your goal is the deconstruction of patriarchy, you are a feminist, correct?
But again, just like I said, I think when it comes to Western societies like United States, Sweden and stuff, I think women are doing pretty good. We're moving to the right direction.
Yeah, right. I understand your take there. I'm just want to make sure that I understand if you're a feminist or not. So going around the table, by that definition, are you a feminist?
Again, I said yes, I was.
Yeah. Do you know what going around the table means?
Oh, okay.
Didn't we all answer that question?
Yeah, I know, but now I just gave a definition, and so now I'm asking a different question. So, anyway, I was just curious, by that definition, would you guys then consider yourself feminists, which is the movement towards egalitarianism and shrugging off or destroying, dismantling patriarchal systems?
By that definition, yes, I would consider myself a feminist.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
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 Okay, this is going to be a bit embarrassing, but does patriarchal means a man leading world?
Yep.
I don't think I'll be 100% feminist in that. I still love men to lead. Yeah. But like not overpowering in a sense.
I think it's just not a black and white answer. You can't be like, I'm not going to be stood on the streets like with a feminist sign. Like, I'm not that strong about it.
I think the miscommunication is that even if you're a feminist, you still want men to have rights. You want the men and women to have equal rights, right? When it comes to patriarchy, typically what it involves is women have lesser rights.
Right.
They're going to have lesser power, authority, and they're going to have maybe not less rights, but they're at least going to have different rights.
Yeah. Okay, then I will consider myself more towards feminist.
Yeah. So it's interesting. So what I think happens is that people conflate feminism with wokeism, like the purple-haired, sky-screaming lunatics who you see on the street with the signs, like you were kind of alluding to. But feminism doesn't mean that. It actually just means a movement towards egalitarianism and removing patriarchal systems. So when that definition is out there, basically all of you are feminists then, by that definition. Yeah. So I just always think it's interesting to see how many people will say that they're not, but then when they think about what it actually is, they change their answer to, yes, I actually am.
It's just, I think, unfortunately, feminism has a negative connotation in today's society. Like a lot of people who, wokeism and stuff like that, just like you said, they typically pinpoint to like what Marvel is doing. Women are just naturally more powerful, better, stronger, and then men suck. It's just the new media pushing
but that's all part of the messaging to destroy patriarchy.
But they actually not advocating for the equality of men and women. They're actually advocating for women being better and having more power. Why?
If you have oppressors, if you're a woman, if it's women versus men and women have oppressors, who are their oppressors?
Sure, no, I understand your point.
Yeah, so then the case is that any of that, what you're talking about, hang on, just let me make my point and just let you speak. So anytime you say, well, wait a second, there's part of what I would call the message. You're alluding to the message. So the message is, now we have a chick in black tight leather doing ninja kicks, and she's awesome, and she's being elevated above the men in the show or whatever. But all of that messaging is designed specifically to dismantle patriarchal systems. That's its point. That's the whole point of it. It's all feminism. Wokeism is feminism, but also the movement towards egalitarianism to kind of shrug off patriarchy. That is also feminism. All of it is breeding the same message, right? Which is that patriarchy is bad.
Yeah, but I feel like today's society, the media especially, is pushing it a little bit too far. Like, for example, when it came to, women's rights and feminism and stuff, a lot of men actually helped women obtain those rights and stuff, right? Like,
Well,
when it
women
comes
didn't. Women didn't want them at all.
what do you mean women didn't want it at all?
Well, so
What-
that you understand, almost every place that allowed women to actually vote on whether or not they should be allowed to vote, it was voted down. That's why the Supreme Court came in and made the amendment that was pushed by rich industrialists, essentially. But women themselves, the anti-suffragettes, far outnumbered the suffragettes, meaning the women who wanted to vote were far and away outnumbered by women who did not.
Well, didn't the women were not even able to vote at that time, so they actually needed
That's
men's
why I
ins-
just explained to you that the places where they did allow them to vote on whether or not they should have universal suffrage, they voted it down. They said no. And it was because they thought they had the moral high ground by not becoming political pawns, which is basically true. They really did have a much better moral high ground by not being political pawns in a voting block. But yeah, that's essentially what happened. So you are correct that men, rich industrialists are responsible for feminism. That's true, though there was plenty of pro-suffragette women who also share their great share of responsibility. But kind of back to this, ultimately, if it is the dismantling of patriarchy, the move towards egalitarianism, basically everybody at the table is a feminist by that metric.
Relationship like with your father's.
Oh, I already know where
Let me
this
ask
is
you-
going to go.
Sure. What's your relationship like with your father?
Oh, it's super good.
It's good.
Yeah,
Like,
bullshit.
we have
Fucking liar.
good
But yeah, so back to this. You said that you have a good relationship with your father?
Yeah, going around the
Uh,
table. Are your parents still married? Do you have a good relationship with your father?
Yes.
Would he support your OnlyFans work? Does he?
I'm not sure about that.
You're not sure that your
Yeah.
father support, if he does or he doesn't support your work?
I mean, I hope he does.
Yeah, but I mean, if you have a good relationship with him, how would you not know that?
It's because he's not really a tech guy, so I don't think he went in there. Like, he never dived deep.
So in other words, he doesn't know.
Like, he knows that there are sexy photos, but not like deep, you know?
So he doesn't know that you have sex on camera.
What is
No,
deep,
I don't have
deep?
sex on camera.
Oh, you don't have sex on camera. I'm sorry. What type of work do you do there with OnlyFans?
Like, I do something like artsy, like it's like exotic photos.
At sea?
No, it's
Like you're on a boat?
no art.
Maritime OnlyFans?
ART.
Huh?
Art.
Oh,
artsy.
Etsy.
Yeah, sensual
Artsy.
photos.
She means artsy.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Oh, artsy.
okay. Arts.
So you don't do any type of, what's considered cam work where you're taking special photos for men or you're on camera doing certain sex acts for men. You're not doing any of that.
I wouldn't say like sex ed, like not the BG type everything.
Okay, well, what kind then?
It's like, is it necessary to answer?
Well, the only reason that I'm asking, because believe you me, I could give a shit less about it ultimately, is whether or not your father actually knows, and if he doesn't know the depth of the actual work that you do, and you say that you're close to him, well, I don't understand why he wouldn't know that.
I wouldn't say that he's close enough to know like about the OnlyFans side. Like, he doesn't know like what goes on inside there.
What
Yeah,
if he
but-
did know?
I guess I would wish that he's okay, you know.
Yeah,
like,
would he be though?
I don't think any parents would be 100% okay. Like,
I agree.
Yeah, but
To be
you
hon-
would. Like when we went around the table and it was asked if, you caught your daughter in a gangbang, you were cool with that, right?
I mean, I would be okay. Is because I've been through it, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna judge
less. But
So
the thing
then,
is,
so then it's not true for parents then, right? Because if your daughter's in a gangbang, it's fine, no problem. But your dad, he's gonna be not so happy with it.
it depends on the generation, right? So every generation, they become more open-minded, I would say.
Yeah, I'm not sure that every generation becomes more open-minded. I think they become more divided, but I'm not sure about open-minded. So I'm just yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead, Andrew.
Yeah,
Go
so
ahead.
I'm just curious then. I just want to make sure I got this right. Your dad doesn't actually really know what it is that you do.
I don't think he no.
Yeah. And if he did, he would not be happy, would he?
Yeah, I don't think he'll be that happy. Like, I mean, it's not the most pleasant sight, I would say. It's like, whoa, I did not raise my daughter to be like that.
Yeah.
Not only that, but I feel like, there are a lot of things that parents don't always need to know and stuff about their children's life, like about their sex life and whatever. Like, I don't think parents want to know.
I think that parents want to know if their kids are engaged in prostitution. I think they want to know that.
Okay.
Don't you think, like, if your daughter was going to be, well, I mean, you guys may not care, but for like normal, regular people, don't you think that they would want to know if their daughter or son was going to engage in prostitution so that they could maybe do something about that?
Yeah. Can you define prostitution?
Yeah, somebody who sells sexual acts or favors for money.
Okay. So but then if it's just normal sexy photos, would that be considered as a form of prostitution?
Yeah, I think if you're selling sexual photos for money, that you're a prostitute as well. Yeah.
Is every Instagram influencer is a prostitute?
A lot of them, I would say, are prostitutes if they're doing it for the nature of sexuality itself.
Well, so what about models?
Well, what about them?
Like a lot of models, for example, they actually, go on a stage showing their boobs and stuff, because it's the outfit and whatever.
Well, what kind of model are you talking about?
Like runaway models and stuff.
Yeah, I think that there's a distinction in intent. So I think that that intent is what matters here, and I don't think that it's an intentional thing for a lot of these women to go out and try to be promiscuous or sell promiscuity, whereas I would say that you guys purposely are doing so.
Our intention is to monetize from selling.
Yeah.
Hold on. Wait, I'm sorry, but I do have to move things along a little bit here.
Mhm.
Are your parents still together?
Yes.
Okay. Your answer to the original question, and are your parents still together?
Yeah. So I don't think my parents would be proudest of me, for whatever the career choice I picked. My parents were together until I was 18.
Okay.
They are still together.
And then what was the other question? It was
The other question is I'm sorry.
Relationship with your dad, I guess. Sorry, I have a very close
Yeah,
relationship.
what's your relationship with your dad?
Yeah, really good relationship with my dad. My parents are still together.
Yeah, parents are
Parents still together?
same.
Okay.
And
All right.
And can I just expand on this a little more, Brian, if you don't mind? So I'm just wondering, kind of over to your left, gal in red. I'm sorry, I didn't write the names perfectly. What did you say your name was again?
Bella.
Okay,
Bella?
thank you. Yeah. So, would you say also that your parents, you said they probably wouldn't be the most pleased? Right? Why? Why do you think that? Why do you think they wouldn't like it?
Because sex work is still taboo and stuff, and it's understandable. Like, for example, if I had a daughter, who started doing this at the age of 18, I wouldn't be happy with it either. I would actually try to guide her to do away from it. But
Well, doesn't that give you an intuition then that what you're doing is wrong?
No, it's not about doing what's wrong or right. What matters is a lot of people jump into this without really knowing the consequences. And of course, every action has its own consequences.
Well, I don't understand. What would you tell your daughter to avoid other than this that isn't wrong?
What do you mean that isn't?
Well, so, I mean, would you tell your daughter to avoid things which are good? Or do you only tell her to avoid things which are bad?
I would actually try to advise her on a lot about the pathway she should pick, right? Like, for example, I could advise her on, hey, you should do this major instead of this major. You should probably go to college. You should do this and that. She should weigh out all of her
right.
options.
Sure. But assuming for a second that she said, I want to get a degree in photography, rather than a
Okay.
degree in social science or something like this.
Okay.
You wouldn't necessarily say that getting a degree in photography was bad, but you
I
would
wouldn't
say,
agree
but you would say
well-
that getting a degree in, or I'm sorry, not a degree, but engaging in OnlyFans work was bad to your daughter,
I never
right?
said it was bad. I
You
said
wouldn't
there's
say that?
consequences. Every action has consequences. I don't think sex working is bad.
You wouldn't tell her it's bad?
I would just say, hey, there's a lot of consequences that you will face if you're a sex worker. Be knowledgeable of that. You are going to limit yourself in a lot of cases if you do if you do become sex worker. So I will advise her on the
Mhm.
consequences she will face, but I don't think there's bad.
Well, let's assume for a second that, and this is a hypothetical, but I just would like to test this, that if
Okay.
you knew that if you said this is bad, it 100% would guarantee she wouldn't do it, would you tell her it was bad then?
No, I would not say
No.
it's bad.
Okay.
Mm.
Even if that would be the word that would be necessary to get her to not do it and do something else.
No.
No. Okay.
No, but children need to have options, right? And it's a parent's job.
I mean,
to
do they
guide.
need to have the option to be a sex worker? Do they need that? That doesn't sound like something you need.
Okay, wait. But the thing is, like,
That's your opinion.
Yeah, I know, but no, I don't think it is. I mean, can you make a case? Can you make a case for why somebody would need to be a sex worker? Why does somebody need that?
You don't need to do anything.
Well,
You don't
then why
need to-
did you just say they need to? Then that makes no sense.
I didn't say that.
You did. You literally, that was your argument. Your argument is, I think children need to have options. My counter was, I don't think they need to be sex workers. You said, I think they do need to have the option to be sex workers. Why would they need to have the option to be a sex worker? Hang on, you got to let me finish what I'm saying, or you can't even understand the question.
Actually, let you just put words into my mouth.
That's what
because
you said. Do kids need to have the option? Do 18, 19-year-olds need to have the option or not?
Calm down. That's not what I said.
Okay,
I
what did
said-
you say?
Job to provide them with guidelines to different options that they have, right? So if they come to you and say, hey, I'm considering sex working, it is an option they're considering, right? And it is your job to guide them and to be like, hey, you're an adult, I understand, but here are the options and here are the consequences. Hey, you considering sex working? This might limit you. Why don't you actually try to go to college, see how you like it, maybe get a corporate job or something. And then as an adult, once you face all the other decisions and all the other choices, if you still want to do sex working, it is what it is.
Chris donated $200. Thank you, panel, for standing up to Andrew. I would not have my panel of side chicks if it wasn't for women like you co-signing the BS that I told them. You are helping us rich guys bangs girls on BC.
Oh, thank you, Chris. Thank you. Appreciate it, man. Speaking
So-
of birth control, wait, Andrew, is it all right if I move this along?
Oh, I
Or do
just
you
want to finish this real quick.
Okay.
Just last point. So you
Okay.
do think that women need to have the option to be sex workers if they want? They need that or no?
I'm not going to use the word need. I feel like you're trying to put words into my mouth.
That's why I'm
It's-
asking you. That would be the opposite of me putting words in your mouth by asking you. Do you think they
They
need that
cannot-
option or not?
They can have that option.
Yeah, I know.
don't
Do you think they
don't
need
to
it?
do anything. You don't need to go
Yeah.
to college. You don't need to marry.
Right.
You don't need to do anything.
So we don't
right?
need to give people the option to be prostitutes. Like, we don't need to do that.
There is an option and still
Yeah, I
working.
know. There's a difference between is and ought, though. I don't know if you know that.
I understand that you would probably, if it was up to you, you would like try to implement like a policies and stuff like that.
Mhm.
That's fine. That you do you get your morality through religion. I understand. Blah,
How do
blah,
you
blah.
know?
I'm just assuming.
Why? Because you
seem
watched
like-
a bunch of shit? You watched a bunch of clips about me? Is that why?
I actually didn't. I actually didn't know about you before.
Then why
that.
did you assume I've made a religious argument the entire evening?
Because the way you talked about sex working, the way you talked about sex.
Yeah, but why would that require religion?
Am I wrong? Wait, no. Hold on. Am I wrong? Do you
No,
not
but
have
but
your
but I'm
morality-
asking a different question, which is why assume that if I haven't made a religious argument the entire evening?
Assume things about you. You can just like you assume things about me. That's fine. So
Couldn't
you can
he make a
correct me.
secular argument?
Yeah, I've made nothing but secular arguments.
You can correct me and be like, no, Bella, you're wrong. I don't derive my morality through religion.
Yeah, but there's no reason to correct you. I'm just asking why you assumed it. That's just for me to. It's not a trick. It's like literally not a trick question. I'm just curious.
But I assumed correctly.
Yeah, I know, but why though? That's my question.
Yeah,
Why
what's
did
your
you
point?
make the assumption?
Because when you were debating with her in regards to morality and stuff,
Mhm.
you were basing your moral arguments based on religion. So
No, I didn't. I never made a religious argument. In fact, it was an internal critique of consequentialism, which I don't even believe in, to try to make a comparison between if the consequence of this is the same as the consequence of this, why wouldn't you support it? That makes no sense. Had nothing to do with religion at all.
okay, then am I still right though that you drive?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you're correct. I'm religious. I'm just curious as to why you assumed it. That's all.
The reason why I assumed it just based on your arguments, I guess.
Oh, do you assume generally that people who are against sex work are well? Let me get hang on. Let me get at why I think this because.
Sorry.
Do you think it's because people generally who are against sex work are religious?
Did you say people who do sex work?
Wait,
No,
guys,
people who are against it.
You more like, please, both of you.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
almost done. I just want to know this last thing. Is it because you think that people who generally are against sex work are religious?
People who are generally in sex work are not religious. They might be spiritual, but they
All
don't
right,
necessarily.
never mind. I don't even think you understand what I'm saying. But we'll move it along.
I just think I'm not saying what you want me to say. So you just say
No. I mean, I asked a completely different question. The
To
question that I asked is people who are against. You got to stop talking. You can't hear. People who you got to stop talking. You can't hear what I'm saying. People who are against sex work are generally religious, not people who engage in it, who are against it. People who are not for it are usually religious. Do you understand?
typically, like, I feel like there's actually more non-religious people in today's day and age, and they consider sex working to be a taboo.
Just going around the table, are you on birth control?
I mean, the
No.
problem is we can't
Yes.
even get into
Yes.
it because
No.
every time we try to tangle on this shit,
Hormonal
we get moved
for
along.
everybody or anybody on like
Regulation
copyright?
of
You do
Like
your-
the second I start
What's that?
cooking one of them,
Regulation
we
of
get
the
moved on.
period.